Up next is Hien Lam. Hien is the chief prophecy fulfiller at Huck Finch, a strategic branding studio based at Spark East in Ypsilanti. Before Huck Finch, Hien started a personal development blog called Chill Pill that shows people how to live up to their potential. Hien was also temporarily ordained as a Buddhist monk. His talk will focus on lessons he's learned from fellow entrepreneurs that have shaped his life and business.
Hi, I'm excited to be sharing lessons I've learned from entrepreneurs who have been guests on my podcast, Life on Brand. These are lessons that have guided me, especially during these trying and challenging times. So let's turn that weirdness up to an 11 by acknowledging a simple fact in life, which is you, yes you, are gonna die someday. So if you have aspirations and desires to be an entrepreneur, today is to do it. Make today count and every day after this count towards achieving that goal. You know, that's a funny saying, make every day count. Has anybody actually taken the time to figure out how many days there actually are to count? Well, this weirdo has. And by my calculations, we all have approximately 26,000 days, give or take. And the bad news is that we've already used up some of these days. And while this may seem somewhat morbid, somewhat macabre, the OG philosopher Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the act of dying is one of the act of life. And that by meditating on the end, we start to truly appreciate how short and precious life truly is, and that we stop putting things off to tomorrow and start doing the important things today. So rather than talk about death for this entire time, which I probably could, I want to spark some joy by sharing these lessons that I've used to help to live my life on brand and to help me make every single day count. But what might make sense is to allow myself to introduce myself. My name is Hien, like the ketchup without the Z. I co-own Huck Finch, a strategic branding studio based in Ypsi, where we make purpose-driven brands the norm rather than the exception. And we do this by distilling a brand's essence into messaging and visual design that's scroll-worthy, vibrant, and colorful AF. And yes, I know, that sounds very good. And just because running a business wasn't hard enough, we decided to start a podcast, which is where the lessons will come from today. The podcast is called Life on Brand. We've interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the tech field here locally, in Silicon Valley and globally, and wanted to really capture and distill down the entrepreneurial experience. And while I wish I could share lessons from every one of our amazing guests who are way smarter than me, I don't have the time. So I've distilled things down to 3 lessons from Jason Fried, Eli Altman, and David Klingenberger. And I know what you're probably thinking. I've seen talks like this before. These people have shared lessons, but I never knew how to apply them. Is this going to be one of those talks? And to that I say, don't even trip, dog. Actionable tips are also coming your way. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with lesson number 1 from Jason Fried. And Jason teaches us that businesses go out of business if they're not profitable. That sounds really obvious when you say it out loud, but as entrepreneurs, we need to prioritize profitability from day one. Because if we don't, then we really can't keep our lights on for very long. And the best way to do this is to build a runway. Calculate your monthly expenses and figure out how long can your business run without the ability to bring in any revenue. And then figure out how much you want to have in the bank to cover those monthly expenses, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And honestly, I can't stress enough how important this lesson has been for us, especially at the beginning of the pandemic when things were really chaotic and unpredictable. Lesson number 2 comes from Eli Altman of 100 Monkeys. And while you may not be familiar with his name, you may be familiar with some of the things he has named, such as Dolby Atmos, Ithaca, and my personal favorite, Morning Glory from Jamba Juice. And what Eli teaches us is that we don't want to be the Cheesecake Factory. And what this means is we should all strive to specialize and be really, really great at a few things rather than just meh at a whole bunch of things. So the best way to do this is to say no to things that we don't want to do. Taking Jason's lesson into account around profitability, as you figure out what profitability looks like for your business, ask yourself, if money isn't an object, what would I say hell yeah to, no matter what, all day, every day, to run your business? And what would you say hell no to? And for all the hell no's, figure out how you're going to cover them just to make sure that your business runs as smoothly as possible. And then lastly, we have a lesson from David Klingenberger of The Brinery. And what David teaches us is that we need to invest in social capital. While it sounds really romantic and exciting, the idea, the story of an entrepreneur pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps and doing things on their own, the fact of the matter is, based on all the conversations I've had with entrepreneurs, That's just not how it works. It takes a village. It takes a community. It takes those around you that want you to be successful for you to be successful. And I'm standing here on the backs of giants who have helped me be successful in what I do. And the best way to do this is to give more than you take. To do this, come up with 5-minute favors. The fact of the matter is, you are talented and gifted, and there are those out there, especially right now, who could really use your skills. So how can you package down what you do into 5-minute favors that can be highly impactful for those around you? And the more you give to those around you, the more they're going to give back to you. And that's it. Those are the lessons I wanted to share with everybody today. But to make sure that you don't forget me, I'm going to share some bonus tips that I've learned on this path of entrepreneurship. And the first being, problems make us unique. While we typically see problems as barriers, we should be looking at problems as differentiators. And if you can frame problems the right way, they can be the things that make your business stand out. Next, you should never ever follow passion. It's terrible advice because passion only comes after you invest in time and energy into something. So just go out there and do the work, and then eventually passion will find its way to you. And lastly, all good things come to an end in life and in business. So start there. Imagine a day your business no longer exists. How do you want it to be remembered? What did it achieve? How did it inspire others around you? And then create a roadmap and a path to ensure you can bring this vision to life. I started this with a quote. I'm going to end it with one from a modern-day philosopher, Shia LaBeouf. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Go out there and do it. You have less than 26,000 days to live your dreams and to live your life on brand and to pursue your entrepreneurial goals. As I mentioned, you're gifted and you're talented. And hopefully the lessons I've shared today from Jason, Eli, and David all help you on that path the way they have helped me. So go out there, be bold, even extra light, but never ever normal. And if you found these lessons valuable, check out the podcast. Shameless plug. There are other great lessons to be learned from there from people who are way smarter than me that can help guide you to ensure that you live your entrepreneurial life on brand. And in a non-pandemic world, if you see me on the streets, come up and give me a predator handshake. To me, that's the highest honor. So thank you for your time, and be safe, and rock a mask. Thanks.